We don't know. We probably aren't allowed to do it yet, but we'll figure it out. Literally, things we ship today started off with this like naive ambition, and we just again do the work to make it reality.
And you guys also just canceled your Cursor subscription.
We did,
Your why? What was the decision there? Like you guys are full in on Claude.
It is being in the swimming pool in the deep end and then letting go of the wall. You have to let go of the wall to see if you can swim.
So I would love to welcome and present Channing, Jocelyn, and Sam. If you guys want to join me up on stage. Yeah, more. Woo! Yeah. This is awesome. Okay, so what I wanted to do today, let me see. Pull this out a little bit. So I want to chat about obviously the announcement that just took place. Let these folks introduce themselves. But what I wanted to do is kind of walk through three arcs today. So one is like the Wealthsimple journey, how they got from where they are, from where they started 2014 to where they are now, which is the big announcement. Then I want to talk about how they actually build products in-house. And finally, how they think about AI in their product use. And then I want to flip it over to you guys. So if you guys do have questions, save them for the end, and we'll get to your questions in the end. So today, though, you guys just announced some pretty cool things, I think. So you guys announced household accounts, which means okay, but maybe I'll just high level household accounts and SMB, small business owners accounts as well. And then I'm going to cut to you guys to talk about why those are cool. But a few other things about Wealthsimple: 125 billion in assets under management, 100 billion.
I'm trying to think of the number where we could say, oh yeah, 150.
150. Okay. Yeah. Is that too high? Yeah, it's 100 plus billion, $10 billion valuation, and yeah, it's amazing. So maybe Sam, I'll hand it over to you. Who are you? And then we'll pass it down the line.
All right. Hey everybody, nice to meet you. Nice to see you. I'm Sam. I'm a senior product director at Wealthsimple, which means I work with designers, engineers to ship all of the really great products that people seem to love and use regularly. I've been at Wealthsimple for 5 years. I know there's a lot of engineers here. I did train as an engineer, so I have that street cred. But yeah, my 5 years at Wealthsimple, I've worked on the checking account. I've worked on the credit cards. I've worked on our growth team, doing all of the iPhones, all the giveaways. I now work with a couple people here on the family accounts. And then as well, there's a sort of a collective effort we're putting around AI that I'll be working on as well. So I've done a few things across Wealthsimple, all fun, and have seen the crazy growth we've had in the last 3-4 years. And so I think we're going to get into some of that and just yeah, what we've seen, kind of how we think we do things maybe uniquely or different, and what's really worked in the last 5 years to get us to where we are today.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Jocelyn. I have been at Wealthsimple also for 5 years. I think I started a week or two after you, Sam. I am an engineering director at Wealthsimple, and I work in product growth. I partner really closely with Sam. I work really closely with Channing. And we are very excited to talk about, some of the things we rolled out today, because our teams built a lot of the things that rolled out today, and it's very nice to see them living in the wild and being able to be talked about.
So cool.
Looking forward to that.
Channing.
Great. Hi, I'm Channing. I was the former co-founder and CTO of Plenty, which was a startup that was helping modern couples manage their financial lives together. We were acquired by Wealthsimple about a year ago, and I now have the great privilege of leading engineering for the family and money management team at Wealthsimple that was responsible for the households, youth accounts, spend insights, and net worth products that we announced earlier today.
There's a pretty fun full circle moment here, because Channing's wife and co-founder, Emily, was on a Tech Thursday panel. We hosted like a one-off panel in San Francisco in 2024, and you were on our inaugural San Francisco panel. And so then I saw the news you guys were acquired, and now you're here, so kind of a cool full circle moment. So great to have you guys all join us. This is awesome. Maybe whoever wants to take this, but run us through what you guys just announced today in a little bit more detail for those who aren't as familiar with some of that, a really huge announcement that you guys had today.
Sure. Was there one particular product you want me to start with?
Well,
or?
maybe talk about households that you were working
Yeah,
on.
yeah, absolutely. So we've sort of shipped an entire suite of family-based products, and it's something we're really focusing on at Wealthsimple. So when it comes to householding, something Emily and I learned through years of working to build things for families, and we saw reflected in a survey we did recently with Wealthsimple clients, is that no two families manage their finances quite the same. So you have families that want to share everything together. Some families only want to share a little bit together. And to create a really great product experience for the full spectrum of modern families, you need to build something that flexibly accommodates that reality wherever you are on that spectrum. So one of the products that we've built for Wealthsimple is allowing families to share selectively any accounts they want to, so that across the entire product suite, net worth, holdings, performance insights, you can share just the information that you want to share and not more.
Man, that's super unique. Are there examples of that in other countries of like fintechs launching a product like that? Or is this unique to Wealthsimple?
Not that I'm super aware of. We were doing it in the United States, obviously, before. And,
At Plenty.
At Plenty.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and now at Wealthsimple as well.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Justin, I'm curious about the small businesses side of things. If you just want to talk about that, because I remember, I don't remember, like 2 hours ago, reading the press release, going, "Oh, damn, this is pretty good." For Tech Thursday, maybe.
Yeah, I can speak a bit to small business. I think the thing that we are really excited about for small business owners in Canada is I think they've been traditionally underserved by the big banks. And so things like a business PLOC are things that are just going to be huge unlocks for small business owners, people who they've got carrying costs to their business and they need to be able to manage those quickly and easily, and they can using Wealthsimple now.
Yeah, that's awesome. 2.25% savings account on a checking account, which is awesome. Business, prepaid business card, lines of credit, super cool. That's awesome. Sam, I wanted to maybe take a step back. You joined Wealthsimple 5 years ago. When you joined, it was just an investment product that you guys had. What's that journey been like over the last 5 years, and how has Wealthsimple gotten to where it is now?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think we were sort of talking about this when we met up before, and even sitting in the audience today and seeing it, it did have me reflect on when I joined the company 5 years ago. And it really was, if we rewind our minds to 2021, it really was just, not just, it's great, but it was an investing product. We had crypto, we had managed investing where we invest for you, and then STI where you can trade on your own. And then really I joined, and I think there's a few of us sprinkled. CDP was there. It was like a small group of like crazies who were like, we could be more than just investing. Like, Wealthsimple can be in banking. And so we were running around. We were doing like a Venmo for Canada on university campuses. I don't know if anybody remembers that. We're giving away bubble tea, doing all this crazy stuff. And it like really was not working, which is the wild thing. Like, we would literally pay people to download the app, and they're like, nah, I'm good. We're like, how about $50? They're like, nah, I'm good. It's like we literally could not pay people to use a banking product at Wealthsimple. But we like persevered and we pushed, and really the things that makes me think of is even our values we have today around naive ambition. We just like believed that we could figure it out and just kept on going and persevering. And we talk internally a lot about the client, but really what that means is like, you guys will tell us what to build. So we were running around on campus trying to get people to use Venmo, and they're like, you know what, e-transfer is fine, but I hate my bank. Like, can you just like build a bank account? Right. And then we woke up, we're like, let's build a bank account. And so from that humble beginning, we built direct deposit, bill pay, all of that, and that built up. We added 4% interest on it, and it just exploded. And now we have 1 million clients in our banking product, $10 billion in cash in our product. The payment volumes in the billions. So just to see us go from a bunch of us running around on campus begging people to use our product to millions of clients using our banking product, that is like this arc that Wealthsimple's been on, that a lot of us have been on, where we went from just investing to now full-fledged investing plus banking. So that's like the arc, and that set us up to do a business checking account. So building on everything we did for personal, doing it for business owners, everything we did for individuals, now doing it for households, for kids. So really just that perseverance and that arc we've been on in just these last 5 years, just like brick by brick, building that to where we can sit here today. So it's been cool. It's been a cool journey just seeing how we're just expanding what we build, but also who we serve. Yeah. It just continues to expand.
So cool. Justin, I'm curious, you've also been there for the same amount of time. On the Eng side, how does the engineering team keep up with this product velocity?
Steal this from you. Yeah, I think one thing that we do really well at Wealthsimple that I greatly enjoy is I don't think it's product velocity or Eng velocity. We work really closely together. Like we work in multifactors, which I think might be a made-up word, but might not be. And what I mean by multifactor is like product, design, engineering, and data. We work really, really collaboratively and closely together. So one thing, like Sam and I work really closely with our design partner Hannah, and we did an on-site build for just the three of us to try in 8 hours to build and launch something that we thought was really interesting to experiment with. So when we talk about like engineering keeping up, we're in all of the conversations with our product partners, with our design partners, and we can see what's coming so we can plan for it. So the engineering build, it's not really an engineering build, it's really an R&D build. And that's how we approach it.
Okay, that's awesome. Channing, from your side, so a year ago you got acquired by Wealthsimple, but you had built a product that was doing something similar to what was launched today. So I'm curious, like, how much of that original company is in the launch that came out today, and what's it been like over the last year, going from running your own shop to now working at Wealthsimple?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's been an incredible ride. I think usually with acquisitions, the success, especially for acquisitions like ours, boils down to the alignment between what and how the acquired team is passionate about building and the expectations of the acquiring company. Right. And Emily and I started Plenty for a few reasons. First, financial institutions didn't reflect the reality that for our generation, majority of people manage finances as a partnership. Second, no one's best life is like 10 different finance apps to manage their whole financial. Like they want one place to go to manage everything. And third, everyone deserves a financial company that's acting in their best interest and that's not going to take advantage of them at every turn. So I think coming and joining Wealthsimple allowed us to continue delivering on our mission just at a much larger scale. And I think for that reason, it's been really successful. It's been interesting going from, shipping as a small team to shipping as a really, really big organization, at least an order of magnitude more complexity in Wealthsimple's system than we had at Plenty. But the same core of what we were looking for in engineers at Plenty, which were folks that had really high level of ownership, really high agency, run through walls to achieve outcomes, has allowed us to be successful at Wealthsimple and is also already the engineering culture at Wealthsimple. So it's been incredible how easy it's been to fit into things, yeah.
That's awesome. And there's now a pretty solid crew of you in San Francisco, right? Is that like a lot of like your early Plenty folks and a few more new folks?
Yeah, we've got the core Plenty team. I actually think a few of them are in the audience right now, still a part of the team. And now the team has expanded. We have folks that are in Toronto, folks in Vancouver, all over the place.
So cool.
Yeah.
In the release, you guys mentioned as part of this product launch, 1,700 people were surveyed to understand how they used household finances, Anyone can kind of take, I got different elements of this question, but like, that's a remarkable feat. It's one thing to do and say, but I think it's another thing to like actually turn that into actionable insights. And so curious, like, what does that surveying look like internally at Wealthsimple, and what did you learn? Are there maybe like, obviously you learned some of the products, but are there some other products that are emerging as well?
I'll take it. Yeah, so maybe back to what I mentioned, where we internally talk a lot about the client, and we sort of obsess about that, and it's so that we can build products that people will actually want and use. That's how we figure it out. That's how we know and get signal that we're on the right track, and then you ship the product, and then you validate that. And so there's a few different ways we do it, and so one of them is surveys, other is interviews, and that's hard to do at scale. And so for early in products, especially I think on for the kids account, because it was such a new clientele for us, it's kids, it's partners, and we typically just built for individuals. We did a lot of surveying and just trying to get a sense for like the lay of the land, and so then we could start to figure out sort of where we could play. And so in that survey, I think we want to get into the mechanics of how we survey, but send up surveys.
I'm kind of interested. What were the mechanics? Was it just all in-app push notifications?
So we'll do emails. Our clients are very responsive, which is amazing. And so sometimes we'll just send out emails and they'll answer. We do in-product prompts. We'll have like a type form survey. So you sort of get the in-product prompt, you click it, you fill out the survey. If we want to do really big surveys, we'll actually partner. We've partnered with Angus Reid, and so they'll go out and do like fully randomized. I don't know if we did that for this exact survey, but we'll do like fully randomized, statistically significant, perfect surveying. So there's sort of a spectrum, and it sort of varies on, is this something that we feel like we understand and we just need to pressure test something, then we just pop something in an app or email a couple clients, or is it a completely new area for us and we sort of need very strong upfront signal to sort of set the right direction, and then go about shipping and iterating on the product.
And how much of the result of surveys is just like an executive proving his own bias and like wanting to, or his or her own bias and like wanting to launch their own product, or like how much are you guys actually learning from these surveys when the information comes back?
Yeah, how I think about surveys, and I think we did a great job in this instance, is it's not going to give you the answer, right? Because you can't ask, like, what do you want, But it can give you signal as to where people's problems are and like the issues they face and the challenges they have, right? Because you can ask somebody, and it's very easy for us as humans to say what issues we have versus like how might I solve them. So you're not going to get the answer, you're not going to get the solution, but you're going to get signal on the problem. And so like in the survey, I think one of the results was 87% of couples that have kids, so family, say that finances have caused like trouble in their relationship or caused them issues. And so like that is strong signal. That doesn't tell you how to solve it, but it tells you like, wait, there's a there. Like what Channing and Emily saw, like there's a there. We asked 1,700 Canadians, and 90% of them said, yeah, that's an issue. and so like that's strong signal. So then you have to go through the work though. So then you don't just like, you're not done then. Now you just, okay, I have signal as to what the problems are. When you have a couple and kids, expenses go up, it's hard to track, you have 10 different apps, but how do you actually solve that? And that's the product work, to build the simplest version first, identify like what we can uniquely do, which I think we identify really well, which is, well, what if you could just track and see it all in one place? We could do that. We're Wealthsimple. We know software. We can help you do that, right? We can't help you with all of your issues, but we can help you see it in one place. We can help you take action on it very simply. We do that very well. So now you can see it all in one place. You can manage and plan. Now you can move money where it needs to be. You can make sure there's money in the account where it needs to be. You can like authorize trading. We announced today where I can trade on my behalf. So if I'm sort of managing the finances for my wife, I can go trade on her behalf. So once we're able to put it all in one place and do that really well in a slick design the way Wealthsimple does, now we can help you take action on it. So it's really finding where can we play and how can we help with that problem. It's not going to be everything, but it's going to be things that we can uniquely do well, and then that's the product process. And then you ship it, and then again, the clients will tell you, did it actually solve my problem or not? Are you way off? And then that's when we'll pivot and try again.
So cool. So do you guys think that this product launch, is saving Canadians' marriages? No, I'm joking. You don't have to take credit. I mean, you could just say, yeah. That's not a real question. I was mostly just joking. But if you do have an answer, go for it. Okay, yeah. So take credit then. Yeah, the success of this launch will be measured on divorce rate.
I will say yes. The launch of this product is saving Canadian marriages, and you can attach my name to that.
Okay, I love it. That's awesome. That's going to be the headline for the recap. Amazing. Okay, so that's kind of like Act One, Wealthsimple story. Now getting into how you guys actually build products. Joss, I'm curious. Sam, you mentioned two of Wealthsimple's values that show up in your culture manual. One is the client, and the second one that you mentioned is naive ambition. But previously I worked in fintech as well, and understand that these are like heavily regulated industries in fintech and finance in Canada. So what does naive ambition? What does naive ambition mean within Wealthsimple in such a heavily regulated industry?
Sure. Yeah, I can take a first stab, and then if you two have anything to add, I'm happy to share. I mentioned multifactors. I love talking about multifactors, and I think one of the things we do really well at Wealthsimple is we lean really heavily on our partners, which means like in R&D we also partner very closely with our internal teams who focus on regulation. So we do make sure we're on side when we're building anything. But I think there's a lot of, like Sam, as you would probably say, space to play. There's a lot of space as you're building new products for Canadians to have. Someone described it to me as, you can play a game of chess with somebody and you look at the board and you're like, what move can I make on the board? Or you can sit at the table with the chessboard and you can say, I'm going to play a different game, and you can flip the board over. And that's kind of the space that we want our teams to be in when we're thinking about how to solve problems. You can look and say, these are the problems that exist and how can I patch them? Or you can say, are these the problems that exist and are these the limitations that we have right now? And I know we're going to talk about AI in a bit, and I think like we're thinking about that with applying AI to our teams as well. Like, how does this reshape the problem space entirely? But that's a foundational piece I find when I talk to other folks at Wealthsimple. Like, that's a way of thinking that people bring to the table. How can we approach this completely differently? And let's aim really big, and then if we have to walk things back, we can, but we're not going to start by walking things back. We're not going to start from a position of like, okay, well, these are the things that are established, so what can we build within this space? Let's start outside of the box and see how far that takes us.
Yeah, Sam, go for it.
Just to connect to today, +1 to all that, and maybe to make it a little concrete, today we announced $25,000 e-transfer limits, $50,000 daily. We came up with the idea that we should elect Canadians. It's your money. You should be able to move your money with no limits or as high limits as possible, and that freedom before we were even legally allowed to send an e-transfer. We were like, so a lot of times we'll be like, yeah, we want to do that. How do we do it? We don't know. We probably aren't allowed to do it yet, but we'll figure it out. So it's like a very much a like flip the chessboard or whatever and figure it out. And so, we figured we had to become an Interac member in order to do that. So we had a bunch of meetings with Interac. Our client compliance team's amazing. Hannah today who presented. We had to talk to politicians. We had to talk to bank partners to allow us on these financial rails. And so, there's like all this work, but it starts with, hey, wouldn't it be amazing if you could just send your money to anybody with no limits? And then you just start there and then you do the work to ship it. So literally things we ship today started off with this naive ambition, and we just, again, do the work to make it reality.
It's such an ambitious trait, I think, to be around, is like people who are always thinking, well, no, we could just do it. Like these are not rules that we have to abide by. I feel like for me, whenever someone says, like I ask them, why are we doing it this way? And they say, because we've always done it this way. That to me is like an alarm bell of like, oh shit, okay, this is awesome. Let's figure out why this is super dumb and let's do it another way. No, that's awesome. Sam, maybe sticking with you. Product design, engineering all seem to work really closely together. What's the mechanism behind this within Wealthsimple, and how do you guys sort of interact with one another?
Yeah, I mean, there's the boring answer around rituals, and we meet weekly, and we talk a lot, and have a Slack channel. But I think the thing that makes it work really well at Wealthsimple, because other companies have multifectas. I worked at Shopify, they have multifectas. I think ours work exceptionally well and better than I've seen work anywhere else because of the culture of Wealthsimple, but one word that comes to mind for me is humility. And I think that's the word that's like when we see someone who doesn't exhibit that at Wealthsimple, it really stands out, or it's what we look for in hiring. Because really what it is you're bringing three people together with different perspectives, and you need to be humble that you don't have the answer, and you need to rely on your partner to help you find the answer. So I think the core of like this multi-factor, forget all the rituals and Slack channels and whatever, it's really that like three people that are expertise in their own field with their own perspectives come together and have humility and like tackle and look at the problem together, and together find solutions, or together at least find a direction, and then bring more people into the fold to actually solve it. So I think that is the core, at least what I've seen, work really well with Wealthsimple.
Yeah, that's awesome. Channing, you guys got engineering teams that are only 9 people, right? Or no? Our team is 9 people. Oh, your team, okay. Your team is 9 people. What does it look like day to day for your team of engineers?
Yeah. So our team is 9. We basically organize into like 2 to 4 person squads. That allows us to work on multiple different products simultaneously. For example, we just shipped kids and teens accounts, working on spend insights, also working on householding in parallel. We found that with this sort of modern AI-driven development that we're all doing now, very small groups of high-performing engineers embedded directly with product design, like Sam and Jocelyn are talking about, can ship incredibly quickly. So that's sort of how our team orients. Within the team, we have individual engineers take DRI, or designated responsible individual ownership of projects within the work stream to own things end to end. Outside of that, like Sam was saying, we have basic rituals, weekly sprints, demos on Fridays. We try to get the team together for every new project kickoff, and at least once every 2 months, the whole team together in the same place. We found that some things don't change in this new AI world, and building really strong team culture is one of them.
Yeah. Can you double click on, you mentioned the word owner. What does that mean, and to own something end to end? Like literally, is an engineer like conceptualizing and then pushing into production?
Yeah, it's a little bit less of engineers coming up with their own product ideas. It's more, hey, we want to achieve this ambitious but clear product goal, and then empowering engineers to own the technical design, the implementation, and then even measuring the outcomes once things land.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome. Maybe Jocelyn, Go Days.
Channing, you should talk about Go Days.
You want to talk about Go Days? Yeah. What is a Go Day? Yeah, it's a great. What takes place on a Go Day?
Sure. It's this really cool concept that I was introduced to at Wealthsimple. I'm not sure if it came from somewhere else, but that's where I came up with it, or was introduced to it. Basically, the idea with Go Days is get all of the people necessary for a really ambitious short-term outcome together into a room for 3 to 5 days, and then clear their schedules entirely to just execute on the one mission that we have. We found this to be super effective for new project kickoffs or anything that just feels really ambiguous and you need to get everybody in the room with a whiteboard to just hack it out. An example of this working recently was when we were trying to figure out these kids and teens accounts. And we started the beginning of the week with 0 lines of code written and like a really derpy prompt that I had put together of like, this is what we're trying to do, guys. By the end of 3.5 days, we had a working end-to-end prototype shipped in production that we were able to use internally. And I know that Sam and Jocelyn have a bunch of examples of this working really effectively as well.
Yeah. Any more you guys want to add? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing that was really effective about your Go Days also, Channing, I know you and Emily made a big effort to look across the company and say like, oh, it's not just our team that's going to be building this. Like we're going to be partnering with folks on this team and this team. We want to all be together. And so it was a cross Wealthsimple effort to build a thing. And even though, beyond the 5, like you had something shippable, but the work continued. I think building that like foundational relationship with the teams. So people, a lot of us work in remote culture and people, but you really know people after you've been in a room for 5 days working on a whiteboard and you develop shorthand. And I think that's so necessary for building, team trust and confidence and bringing people together.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, now I think it makes logical sense to shift towards how you guys are using AI within Wealthsimple and how that is making your teams more efficient. Jocelyn, you said in the prep call that you sort of reset expectations around your team's use of AI and how engineers use AI within Wealthsimple. I'm curious, what was that reset? And how do you expect your team now to use AI?
Yeah, maybe I can tell a little bit of a personal anecdote, and then I can talk about the teams. I went on mat leave from January 2025 to January 2026, and when I came back to work, I met new faces, and I saw old faces, not old-looking faces, but familiar faces, and it was great. It was like, okay, I know this space, I know this world. A lot of the work that we were working on, like the mission and vision hadn't changed, though we'd shipped a lot of products, and I was like, okay, this is great, this is familiar. And I was talking to a colleague, and I was like, it seems like most things are the same, and they were like, yeah, we just don't write code anymore. And I was like, what do you mean we don't write code anymore? And I'd worked with Cursor. I wasn't completely disconnected with how the world was moving, but I came back into a Claude world that did not exist when I had left. And so for myself, I had a big learning curve when I came back. One advantage of being away from a company for 12 months is it takes them a little while to add you back to the meetings. And so if you don't request to be added back right away, you can get some really solid building time in. So for the first, I think, 2-ish weeks when I returned, I just heads down into Claude. And now to circle back to your question, like how are we thinking about using AI on our teams? We had a strong hypothesis that LLMs were going to change the way we worked. And where we started at the beginning of the year, and Sam and Channing, you can give me the back history that I'm missing here, but where we started when I returned in January was like, okay, we think this is going to be different, and we think this is going to be good, and so let's set everyone up with all of the tools that they need, and let's get everyone experimenting. What we saw on our teams were engineers who were using tools like Claude, were reducing their cycle time, so the amount of time to ship a PR, get it reviewed, and get it merged to main, cutting it in half, which was, it's a signal. So like Sam said before, it's not an answer, and there's probably ways you can look at the data and say, well, who specifically was using it? But it was a pretty strong signal for us that we wanted to do more. So we moved our teams towards, we want people to be using Claude, and that's the primary tool that we do use, to do all of the things right now. And so that is how we are, that's how we are working. And when I say all of the things, I want to be clear, all of the things means we start with Claude. And so work that is perhaps something that an engineer would do repeatedly, we can start from Claude with. Like, we do a lot of TDD right now. And so as we continue with this experiment, we are seeing bigger unlocks on our team, so it is something we're continuing to invest in.
And you guys also just canceled your Cursor subscription.
We did, yes.
Why? What was the decision there? Like, you guys are full in on Claude.
Yeah, we are. The Cursor subscription was kind of the last traditional IDE in my mind, and Claude Code is a new paradigm. It's working in the terminal in a way that is different than a lot of engineers have worked before. You are working with prompts. You are perhaps not seeing the code as it is being written. It does not mean you're not reviewing the code. Right. We review all of our code, but it's a paradigm shift. It is being in the swimming pool in the deep end and then letting go of the wall. You have to let go of the wall to see if you can swim.
And so our shift to Claude out of Cursor was partially that. Let's learn this new paradigm. Let's be all in.
Yeah.
And let's see what it unlocks for us. And so far, it's had a pretty big unlock.
Okay, that's
Tim,
awesome.
Do you want to add anything for how you're using LLMs on your team? You do not have to. I just.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I could talk a little bit about how we're using it, tactically on the ground. We found, and this is part of the cursor cancellation, is that we're seeing increasingly, and I'm sure lots of engineers in the room have had the same experience. We're moving away from this sort of IDE with AI enhancement to like fully agentic workflows. It starts becoming, how do you manage multiple agents in parallel, and what does that look like? And part of the cursor cancellation was just pushing us towards that new future. It's a different way of working. There's a lot of fear around AI right now, and I get it. Like, as a software engineer, I totally get it. I think our perspective is AI is fundamentally changing the way and the role of builders, but it's not replacing the need for builders. It's moving around where we need to focus. So code generation, marginal cost is going to zero, right? And we see that happening. But code review, like Jocelyn's talking about, becomes even more important, and the inputs to code review become more important. Like your ability to deeply understand the system that you're operating in, so you have sort of a muscle memory around what I'm reading and whether it's good. Your ability to give really good prompts and sort of guide the agent in a way that's productive. We're noticing that for engineers, at earlier levels of experience, the need to do things like system design becomes increasingly more important. So that's where we're focusing as a team. We talk a lot about this. We tell every engineer at Wealthsimple, like, AI is changing everything. It's this giant tidal wave. We don't quite know where it's going. Our job is to make sure that you're not getting left behind by that wave and you're not getting crushed by it. Yeah. We want to stay surfing on top of it. And the best way to do that is to experiment aggressively and to make sure, from a leadership perspective, we're giving our teams everything they need to stay at that forefront, which means unlimited tokens and consistent encouragement to go out and experiment, even if it doesn't always work out.
Pulling on that thread of fear a little bit more, I think new grads entering the workforce are super afraid of AI and it replacing their jobs or their job prospects. What are you telling either new grads or new hires? What would be your advice for both how to use AI, but how it's going to change over the next 3 or 4 years the industry?
Yeah, it's a great question. Both of my younger brothers are software engineers, so I've had these same conversations with them. I think AI is an incredible learning tool if you use it to learn, right? You have this amazing ability to learn how to code with something that can deeply understand you. You can ask questions you might be afraid to ask a senior engineer on your team because you feel stupid, but you can ask AI endlessly to understand, but you can also use it to replace the understanding and the cognition. I think that's where it's a real pitfall. So what I encourage is use AI to help you understand and build that, solid expertise that's necessary to still use the tools. I don't see the expertise of being a software engineer, the ability to understand systems, going away anytime soon. I think it's become even more important. It's just changing where we need to focus as software engineers.
That's awesome. Sam, I'm curious. So before Wealthsimple, you were at Shopify. My buddy works at Shopify. He just got a raise. Too much money. I don't think he's here. Yeah, he's not here. Too much money. He got too much money because he was a top user of Claude tokens. And then apparently the bottom users within the company were let go at Shopify. And then a couple other companies like fintechs in the States. My friend told me someone on their team is using $70,000 worth of tokens a month, which is like a $1 million run rate for the year, which is kind of insane. I'm curious, are you guys also pro token maxing at Wealthsimple when you guys talk about using it for everything, or how are you guys asking people to use it?
Or yeah, I can go on the token maxing. We are I don't know, sound corny, impact maxing. That's what we care about, and I think the comment on expectations is kind of at that. AI, I'm in product, so I use it differently for data analysis, research, and different things. It's a tool, and you use it to drive complete something faster, do the project better, drive impact faster and better. That is what matters. And so, how we are setting up the expectations, or how we expect people to show up at work, and how AI should show up in our results and the impact we see, is that smaller teams are now able to ship faster and higher quality products. And what we care about is that we are shipping the products faster and at higher quality. And like, how many tokens you use to get there, I don't know. You could use a lot, you could use some. You probably need to use some in order to hit the bar that we set. But it's more about like setting the expectation and the bar a little bit higher, or a different bar, because we're setting our focus in a different place, or we just are able to move in a way that we weren't able to move before, as in smaller teams shipping higher quality products. But what really matters is that we're shipping high quality. Like what we announced today is that we have an amazing kids account. That was enabled because the team got together and used AI to do that. But what mattered is that we shipped an amazing kids account. And like that's what we care about. That's what we are evaled against in terms of performance. It's how we think about the success of the company is like, are people using this kids account and loving it? And the fact that we were able to ship it faster and at higher quality because of AI, that's the win. But one of the wins, but the main win is that people love this account. And so that's what I try to focus on with the team.
You said something cool in our prep call that was like, now with your team, you kind of expect everyone to be a data analyst, right? It's like, oh, like you don't have to go and use someone's time to do some analysis on maybe a survey, for example. Everyone should have, like, that's the expectation now. Is like, you have this tool at your fingertips.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of part of it. How do smaller teams ship faster and higher quality is that you are just able to do things as an individual that you weren't able to do before. And so with my product managers, before it would be literally today. It was like, hey, this thing, like how many people are using this specific feature? Like, should we make it more prominent? Should we deprioritize it? And instead of us being like, I'll take that away, I'll go ask a data scientist, I'll come back in a day, we literally have this tool called Quick Change in Slack. You just go at Quick Change and you ask the question, and it pulls the query. You have to, so you basically get the answer like in 10 seconds. Yeah. And so we just expect that all the PMs operating in their space, you just have all the answers at your fingertip now. You can just do any data analysis of any complexity, quick, fast, and you just should be a more well-informed PM. You should be even more well-informed in the code base. So we have source graph. You're able to like read the code base now with the help of AI. So I expect every PM to be at a level of knowledge of the code base that I just wouldn't have expected before. And I expect them to be able to do data analysis at a level that they weren't doing before. Right. I expect them to be able to do more research and have more inputs into their decision making than they did before, because now I can look at and survey and get a summary of every single piece of research we've ever done on this topic very easily and quickly. So it's just that. It's like resetting the expectations and just like the ability and capabilities you have, which again should equal better products shipped faster.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, my last question for all of you before we open up to you guys. 5 years from now, Sam and Jocelyn, you guys have both been here for 5 years. 5 years from now, where do you guys think Wealthsimple is going to be?
I'm usually the one who has crazy, dumb ideas, so I can go first. So 5 years, I guess, again, maybe back to the arc, and so maybe we draw the arc, but really the arc has been, we were just investing into banking, and then from there, really the next step for us is really credit. And so the credit card, how many people have the credit card? Yeah, my people. The credit card, we're expanding more into that. We talked about lines of credit today. We have the mortgage partnership. It's sort of a thing that we haven't fully scaled yet, but that's sort of in that borrowing bucket. So I just see us continuing to expand what we do for Canadians into these, more and more territories. We announced like insurance partnerships, maybe do that, but just think of like all of the things that you expect from your bank. We're going to eventually do them all and do them way better. Yeah. And then the other arc is who we serve, which is saying individuals, into households, into families with kids, into business owners. And so you can expect us to continue to expand in that arc where we're now thinking about the older generation. Like we're the sandwich generation. We have kids, but we also have elderly parents. So what can we do to help you manage that part of your life? And so are there other segments of people or parts of your life that we can help make easier that sort of touch the finance space? That is where I think we would go. And then there's like wild ideas where where like we launched a telco plan partnership with TELUS today, but it's like, I don't know, could we do something interesting in that space where coming at it from the angle that we have, the tech angle, software angle, where maybe we could expand into like non-obvious adjacencies that are cool. So anyways, right now those are like partnerships, but there's always like fun ways to think about how could you start with a partnership, maybe do something even more interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
it's a hard act to follow, Sam, who has ideas in every sphere, and then to share your predictions for the future. I think a couple things that are really exciting for me, and one I'm going to just blatantly steal from Sam. I think I'm what I would describe as a hard millennial, like just right. I'm a millennial, not on the edges. And the sandwich generation is real. It's real for me. It's real for my partner. We have a very young child, and we have parents who we help with their investments. Today in the audience, we asked at the panel today, like, how many people share passwords with your parents? And like, I share financial passwords with my parents because we do some work on their behalf. So I think in 5 years, I think we're going to have solved this for Canadians. Like we have to solve this for Canadians. I keep describing it as like bring your parents to work, because it would be bringing my parents to work if we can just have that. I think we won't have that same idea that finances are an individual picture. I think they're going to be like a picture for a family, and so we're already seeing that as we're like expanding into kids and teens accounts. I'm very excited to get to that next layer, and then to be like completely throw something completely wild out there. I'm interested to hear from other engineers if anyone is like using Claude, talking to Claude right now, because that's one of the ways that I'm experimenting with working with Claude, like speaking what I am trying to build. And I think it would be very cool if in 5 years with Wealthsimple app, there was the ability for us to, converse with your finances directly. Because if you could do that, if you just ask a question and get an answer back, that's really what I need to know. Like I want to be able to eventually say to my finances, do we have enough money to do that? And have my finances say back to me, yeah, you're good. And then I can move on with my life.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right.
You got to get future vision.
That's it. I mean, Chenny, you got to describe how we're going to get divorce rates down to 10%.
I don't know that I have a lot to add, actually. I think with the things that Sam and Jocelyn described are things I'm really excited about as well.
Cool. That's awesome. Guys, give it up for these folks here. Cool. Who's got some questions in the crowd? Yeah. Oh my God, so many. Let's start over here.
Hi, my name is Ellen, and I just wanted to say you guys help reduce like the barrier entry to me like a lot as someone who graduated March of 2020 from my university degree with no job. And because you guys reduced the barrier, the past 5 years, I was able to wipe out my parents' mortgage to close to $100,000. And you guys, you guys made a huge difference in my life with your tool. But my question is, had I ever came to thought similar to Coho and Fizz, like to have a card that will help like boost your credit score, or just like again like just help someone grow, like in that someone like me or like anybody in like my demographic.
Yeah, so I've worked on our credit card for a few years, so we definitely thought about it. The thing, I'll answer your question, but first to step back, the way we build products really well is we start with a very clear segment and then build something great for them and iterate on that. And so in the beginning, it was a decision. It was, who are we building this first credit card for? Is it for students? We had just come off campus, as I was mentioning, and so like we're like, hey, we should go back to campus? I want to go back. So is it that? Is it like newcomers to Canada, maybe that are like building credit in the same way that maybe a new grad is? Is it uber affluent Canadians that want like an Amex Centurion? Is that who it's for? And really where we started was we've seen a lot of growth in the last 5 years as well, as clients that started off with their first dollar, their first $10, their first $20, and just have like grown that really well over the last 5 years, and now have $100,000, $500,000 with us. So we just saw this huge upswing in that group. So we decided to build the first credit card really for that segment that we saw that had been with us from the beginning, from the not 5 years, 10 years, 12 years actually, from Wealthsimple started, and are now in that segment. And so we built the first card, the 2%, black on black, really beautiful. I'm not just selling the product. And so we built it for them. Now the question is, that card is established, who do we build for next? And so we're starting to, actually, I don't know if I can announce this. Okay, anyways. What you will see is we're starting to now, we're really thinking about expanding and serving other markets or other segments. And one of the segments we are really interested in is younger Canadians who are both building credit, but also the flip side, that you don't have credit. Can we still get you like a good credit score yet, or haven't built up a credit history? Can we still get you a card that works at a limit that you want, that you're approved, where you might go to the bank and you might get rejected, but with us you won't get rejected. And so we're really thinking about both, like, how do we think about the application, and giving you access to credit so you can start building, but also that card itself can be a credit builder. And so you might, in a little bit, see us do something in those spaces. But you'll see us kind of go segment to segment and build something great for each segment, and then continue to think about other clients that could use that. So, yeah.
Perfect. We got one question over here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your insights and experience about adoption of AI. I really liked an experience at the start that you mentioned that you love the idea and you actually have that culture in your company that two people get together, come up with an idea and make a prototype and then invite more folks to join it. This is fantastic. And how, as leaders, I'm curious to know, you make sure that AI does not disrupt that collaboration, because that other person that I can pair with could be AI, not my colleague over there. So how do you address that space?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think like one of our values is be human, and I think that resonates more today than perhaps when we originally wrote it down, or resonates in different ways. I think it's so important to us as team members to work together to build things. We deeply, deeply encourage, like we talked about multifectas, we talked about Go Days, the kind of collaboration and that spark of a new idea, I think you get from working with other humans. I think the AI tools that we use are really, really great at a lot of things. One of my favorite things to use Claude for right now is like, Claude, please help me summarize my Slack channels. Just tell me what's going on and what's open to answer. But I don't think right now you get the same sparks, the same ignition points of like, oh, that's a great idea. And you know what else we could do with that? We could try this. And Sam touched on this as well, like when you're building with the multifecta, you're each bringing your areas of expertise. So when we have our Go Days, like it's really important for us to have data in the room, to have design in the room, to have engineering in the room, to have product in the room, to get that like multifaceted view of what a thing could look like. It's not to say that you can't start with Claude and be like, you know what, I got an idea, let's build a business plan together. But I think very quickly we find when you do that, like that business plan does not survive first contact with your multifecta. It's maybe like a great starting point. I think, Channing, you said a derpy prompt, but it's really like the human pieces that round out what you're going to do.
Awesome. We'll cut to a question over here.
Hi, my name is Sam. I have a question more on the engineering side. You guys are talking about using agents to basically code on your behalf, right? And some oversight with code reviews. Do you guys review the code manually? Do you use AI to review the code? Because I know like humans have a limit with their cognitive capacity, right? Like there's only so much you can review and pack in your brain. So how do you deal with code reviews?
Yeah, it's a great question. A mixture of both is the answer. We do have agentic code review. So every PR that comes up, we have a code review tool that I think we've rolled out to almost every repo at this point. There's a really great first pass, and it's basically, I think about it as like the next iteration of what linters did for folks that remember coding before linters, where it was like you'd give style comments and PR reviews. It's like that next era, right? But there's still the need for human review. We do try to sort of bucket PRs by level of complexity. And I think there's a world where very low complexity, very safe PRs may get auto-reviewed without human oversight, but that's not anything that we see on the near-term horizon. In terms of the cognitive burden of doing this level of code review, that's something we talk about a lot. I think that the job of being a software engineer is more exhausting now than it's ever been. Definitely something I'm hearing from my team as well. So we're trying to work on, as engineering leadership, on how do we embrace that reality, and I don't know, it's hard. It's sort of is the reality. At the same time, humans have this incredible capacity to get better at things that we do over time. So I think seeing a future where becoming really good at code review and getting faster and faster at doing that and realizing that's more of the job is where we're heading.
Over here.
So you guys talked a lot about the building process and about being ambitious. I was wondering how security factors into that, whether it's kind of an active thought process or if you're just like, oh, we'll keep safety in mind, and then you hand it off to the cyber team.
Yeah, we think about security from the very beginning. Yeah, I think it's deeply integrated into everything we do at Wealthsimple. For example, the youth account Go Days that I talked about, right? Literally during that Go Days, which was like 0 lines of code at the beginning of the Go Days, day one, we were already talking about the threat surface we were going to expose with something where you can invite like a minor to have their own identity within Wealthsimple, and they're going to have their own login experience. And we had our list of takeaways for after that week, and the very first thing was getting together with our security team to have a thorough threat review, plan our pen test ahead of time. And that's not abnormal. I would say that's the norm for every single project at Wealthsimple.
Cool. Yeah.
I just want to add that the thing I have learned in my time at Wealthsimple is that sort of thinking about security and fraud, it actually unlocks product experiences and some of the naive ambition we have around, can we ship this thing? Like, you actually need to solve the security fraud problem, and that is the unlock. And so you can imagine the $25,000 e-transfers that we can send. The reason we're able to do that is we work super closely with the team to understand, like, is this opening up threat vectors, is it not? And getting comfortable on that, like for ourselves and for our clients, then allows us to do things that banks aren't able to do. So the fact that we actually lean into that question allows us to build different and better products versus a traditional bank that's not even trying to think about that and just sort of playing it like very safe. And so our fraud team, I think, is one of our superpowers, and we work with them closely, and they help us unlock amazing product experiences that we want to ship.
Sweet. There's only time for a couple more questions, so we'll go here and then we'll go in the back.
Yeah, sure, thanks. So for me, I think I see myself as a huge Wealthsimple fan. It's been a minute, which is why I was very patient when you guys took a while to deliver our credit card. But okay, we'll take it. So after today's event, it kind of seemed to me like Wealthsimple comes across as a technology company that is trying to solve finance problems. So my first question is from a customer. I heard a lot of free today. We're launching ATM worldwide for free. We are doing portfolio lock, all of that, and I love that, for example. There's a lot of free there. So what's the unit economics around that? Is it just because, from my mind, I'm thinking big banks have huge overhead, blah, blah, blah. Is that just the reason, or what's the background behind it? Because you're also using Canada Post, for example, to take deposit. That makes a lot of sense. So from a product standpoint, I work with product Calgary. So it's like, so what product have you launched, if you look at your roadmap, that shattered your internal metrics, and that you were surprised as to how we customers went crazy with it, and how were you able to scale up to manage the additional usage that came from that kind of success?
Cool. I can answer that second question first. I'll go back to first. Credit card, the demand was crazy, and we had to catch up to that demand. So that was one we thought was going to be great, and it turned out to be, I think Visa says it might be like the largest credit card wait list in history or something. I don't know, quote Visa on that. But yeah, so that was an easy example on my mind. Crazy demand. And then the checking account, I would say, once we actually built the checking account and put 4% interest on it, the charts on that were crazy. just, you guys are getting probably 0% in your big bank checking account. We built a great checking account with 4%. And so when we really nail, maybe back to the free, when we really nail a free offering that has a unique value prop that is built very simple and delightful and easy to onboard, the charts just look crazy. So part of our job is to build those products and see those charts happen. In terms of the business model, I love this question because we get it a lot. It's like, how are you able to do it? You give away iPhones. How is this possible? One is that the banks, Cheryl might get mad at me. She doesn't like when I talk about the banks too much. But we should all take offense. They are charging us so much that we can come in and undercut them and offer things for free and still have a great business. Trust us, we have a great business. It's because there is so much room. But like Amazon, your margins, there is so much margin, therefore there is so much opportunity. And so you might see us do something for free, and it's not, like the banks could also do it. It's just, NSF. Like why would we ever charge an NSF fee? The banks don't have to. It's just they make a lot of money on that, and so they charge it. And we can not charge the NSF fee and have a great business outside of that. So we just have decided to not have all of the junk fees, to have a pricing model that is fair, that makes sense for our clients. And the reason we're able to do that is because of our low-cost operating model. We don't have branches sitting on the corner empty, right, all over Canada. That helps. We have a very lean team. 9 engineers built an entire kids account. Our credit card folks are in the back. Our team is probably like 100th of the size of other credit card teams, and we have an amazing credit card. So we operate very lean. We don't have the overhead. And then maybe a non-obvious one is that in a lot of products where we gain conviction that it's working, we actually go pretty far deep in the stack. So we are, on the credit card, the first non-bank issuer. It means we work directly with Visa and directly with our processor, which means we don't have middlemen in the middle sort of taking their cuts, which then means we then have to stack fees on top of that in order to have a revenue generating business. So where we have really good conviction, really high conviction that clients want it, we do the work and go deep. We've done this on the trade side, we've done it on credit card, we've done it on the banking side where we have accounts at the Bank of Canada. We really invest in that so we can strip out the middlemen who are taking all their fees, and we can give those fees back to you in terms of savings. And so yeah, that's kind of the lower overhead, really lean, rock star engineering team. And really, when we can, going vertical in the stack to strip out all of the unnecessary costs and partner fees so that we can give those savings back to you.
Awesome. Okay, we got 2 more questions. We are a little over though, so let's keep our questions short and we can get to both of them. So over here.
Kudos to your exponential growth, great team, and array of products. Just wondering, any wild guess when Wealthsimple IPO is coming?
Okay, nice.
No comment.
No comment. That's awesome. And then last question is just up here.
Cheryl will really, no comment. She'll really get mad if you say anything. I have nothing to say.
Hello, hi. So I'm also a big fan. I've been a customer for a long time, but I'm also a UX designer. So I love the interface, and the simple in Wealthsimple is what's been getting me. But you guys were talking a lot about like fast shipping. And as a designer, it kind of worries me because I'm like, what thought do you guys put into enshittification and kind of the legacy pieces that made Wealthsimple so easy for many of us to like jump into?
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, can you just clarify quickly, like how do we keep it simple when we have legacy products that we then need to like deprecate or change or?
So more so, you guys were talking a lot about we need to ship fast, new products.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And so I'm thinking about enshittification and kind of the gradual decline of apps over time and making it shittier, but charging people more. So I'm wondering if all of these new branches of product lines, if that would affect the core business of Simple in Wealthsimple.
Yeah, I'll give a quick answer because I also love this question. I actually think when I talk to product people or designers, if we're interviewing them, I think as a product team, the core challenge for us is that our clients want to do more with us. We talked about business banking, we talked about families, and so we have to do all of these things. I talked about stuff we're doing in mortgages, just all of the things, but it has to all come back into a very simple experience. So the core challenge is shipping all those things and then having it come back and be very simple. So I think the two ways we think about it is like that is embedded from the beginning, right? So everything we think about and do and design and build, like simple is at the core and we obsess over it. And as a leader, it's probably the main piece of feedback I give on everything is just, is it simple enough? And then the second thing I think is that we actually have a culture of kind of going back and updating and fixing things. And sometimes you guys get mad at us because like we change our home screen too much. But that's like, it might be changing again. But that's like part of it because you kind of need to, once you've sort of stacked it, you've done your best to keep things simple, but then you realize that, okay, now that we have all of these things, it doesn't quite fit the way we thought. And you have to go back and then do it again. So it's this, we sort of ship fast and we want to move forward, but then we will definitely go back and we will relook at it and redesign it from the beginning. And those projects aren't tied to some crazy business metric. It's literally like taste and judgment. Like, does this still feel as simple as it possibly can be? And let's stay on this until we get there. And so when if we change the home screen again, just know it's for the better.
That's awesome.
Can I quickly, one thing I said earlier was that, like your business plan doesn't survive like first contact with your multifactor. Sometimes our work doesn't survive first contact with clients, and we roll out carefully, and we do, beta, small rollouts, and we take in a lot of data, and we make decisions based on that. And sometimes it goes big, and it lives for a long time, and we still learn. And I think it's really important for us as a company to ensure that we are like constantly learning and evaluating, and because something is a new product or something is an old product, doesn't matter to us. We will reevaluate and we'll say, like, is this doing the right thing anymore? Should we change it? And so, yeah, we're constantly in that mindset of like, can we make this simpler? Can we make it easier? Can we do it better?
Cool. Guys, that's awesome. Give it up for these folks one more time. I want to say thank you guys so much for coming out. A lot of these folks are in from out of town at Wealthsimple, and so I'm sure they really appreciate also the Calgary community coming out and showing full support for what they're doing. So thank you very much for coming. I know there's a ton more questions, but there's also these folks are going to stick around, and there's also a lot of Wealthsimple people, and they're all identified with the Wealthsimple badge. So if you guys have more questions, feel free to go chat with some of them, and maybe broadly, in case you are looking for work, they are hiring across the board as well. So all those people would be good to chat with if that's of interest, or if you just want to pick their brain. But you might have to, the price of a question is now one drink from the bar, So no, they might be free. Free?
Free what?
Questions?
Oh yeah, one drink's fine.
One drink's fine. All right, there you go. Yeah, perfect. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for coming out, and yeah, really appreciate it.